allies. How many of you have been introduced to the concept of being an ally? Okay, good, yeah, so more. Now, and this is something that we've given you a definition. In case you didn't, it's to take on the struggle as your own, to stand up even when you feel scared, to transfer the benefits of your privilege to those who lack it. Acknowledge that while you too feel pain, the conversation is not about you.
So, I became a conductor on the diversity train, and I'm sure that you're all doing best to celebrate diversity in your library. So I thought about what small ways can we celebrate diversity. So this was a display that I put up, and we decided with the teachers that there were 4 key areas that we wanted to talk about. That was ability, family, culture, and gender. And we put out some books on display, and we did a little exercise with the kids. We got them to take the books off, because I really didn't want it just to be a display. I wanted them to be able to read the books and know what they were about. So we had a competition. They took the book off the shelf, they read the book, and then they entered a lucky draw where they decided what aspect of diversity the book was about. They also filled in photos, and they loved having their photo taken and put up on the wall. They filled in a little form that said what they thought was diverse about them, and we displayed that on the wall too. So it was all looking really very good. But the allies came, Tricia Friedman, who is known to some people, I think she was our IT digital literacy coach at secondary school, who was absolutely fantastic. And she is a gay woman, and she and her partner were very, very interested in allyship. And so Tricia really started to talk about allyship, and she started to really run with this idea about being allies. And before I knew it, all we were talking about was LGBTQ issues, and all other issues of diversity had gone by the board. So instead of being diverse, we were becoming very narrow again, and in a very different way. So at first, I really wanted to drive that train too. I wanted to get on that train and help them in every way, because I believed in what they were doing. That QR code will take you to Tricia's blog on allyship. But we put, this is one of the ways that we display books. So we have fridges in our staff room, so people go in and out to get their lunch and get drinks on a Friday night. And so we put this big display on the fridge door about being an ally and what books we had in the library. So we were really promoting all of that all together. People would keep coming with me to me with book lists, all sorts of book lists. And I was just buying books randomly. They'd say, oh, this is a really great book list, buy those books. And I would. And one day, this book came across my desk. And I started thinking. And I really started thinking on a whole lot of levels. Is this book a good book? First of all, I knew what it was about. It's a book about same-sex families. But when I went into that book, I actually couldn't find a heterosexual family in it. And so then I started worrying about balance. And I wondered if the pendulum had swung or the train was out of control. So, I started really thinking about that book. And I went to another teacher in the school who is a gay male. And I said to him, I'm getting worried about this, Patrick. What's happening with these books? And am I overreacting? And do you need me to keep buying these books? Because aside from all of that, this is actually a pretty crap book. The illustrations are horrible, it's not well bound. If it had been a book, the ABC of heterosexual families, I never would have bought it for the library. But I bought it because it was, it ticked the box. So Patrick and I started talking about, is this train, and it was his metaphor. He said to me, it is a train. It's a train, and we're talking here LGBTQ. And he said, I'm lucky. He said, I'm a gay white male. And he said, and I'm in first class. And everybody else is behind me. And we need to help those people who are in the caboose to get forward. So that's when the train thing came up. And Katie and I started talking about this. And I said to her, have you seen this program? There's a new program on Prime. Can you play that for us?
Watch this trailer.
Have a look at this trailer. It was perfect. class and who's in second class and who's in the caboose, and are we doing enough for them?
So if on the right are the different facets of identity that the intersectionality is about, on the left is a list of some of the ways that we librarians look at how might identify books as being diverse in our collection. So we can look at the setting for geographical diversity, we can look at the characters, we can look at the issues. And so for every book, sometimes those things are in the foreground and sometimes they're in the background. The author's identities, this whole thing of who's writing the story. And I would say when I say first degree, second degree, third degree, so if I say here's a book about Indians, then I could say who's written it. Is that person, is that author in India, from India, or is it that their parents are from India, or their grandparents? And so we can judge, now again, we're going to get into the question of how do you know about this in your catalog and what do we really track? And then where was it published? Do we have good diversity of publishing locations and obviously languages and translations?
Okay, I don't know if anybody knows these two books, because this was two other books that started me thinking. Some books put the issue that we're talking about right in the foreground, and others of them are in the background. And so particularly, again, when we were talking about LGBTQ books, which of the books that put things in the foreground, and are those books we need to display more? Or what do we do with the books where the issue is in the background? Do we need to note that at all? That this is just somebody's normal, that this is how it is. So these two books, if you know these at all, that's not what's happening. What's happening is a book that I just read. It's about a school shooting, so it's a pretty sort of gritty book. But in it, it had a blind character, a wheelchair user, an asexual character, a gay character, a Latino, a white Christian, and somebody who was troubled, African American, and working class, all in one book that was about a school shooting. And I actually thought all the diversity issues kind of overpowered the story in a way. Whereas On the Edge of Gone, which is more about an environmental disaster, they still had a lot of those kind of characters, but they were very much in the background. They were just normal people going about their normal day, and they didn't have to make a big deal about it. So that's why I thought that was those two books were worth looking at. Okay, and this is the other thing. Who's normal? And we've just been talking about this. Can I culturally look at a book from another country and decide whether that is a good book for people who might be from that country? So these books are three books that landed on my desk last week that I bought that tick that LGBTQ box because they're from the Philippines. They really put the issue in the foreground. There's no doubting about that, and I really wondered if I went with those books to one of my parents, would they be happy with those books being in the hands of their child? They're children's picture books. But then I started to wonder, well, hang on, where we live in Singapore, quite often we'll talk about going to the movies and we say, oh my goodness, when they put a rating on a movie in Singapore, a really violent movie will have, a G rating, but if it's got a homosexual kiss in it, it's an R21. Somebody else's lens, and these books made me think, am I looking through the wrong lens? Do I need somebody from that culture also to be reading and saying, yeah, this is acceptable. That's how we look about things like this. Those books will all be on the table here for you to look at.
Okay, anti-racism. This is a pendulum, and this is one that's swinging quite hard in my school. So we had a summer book club for we teachers, and we read two books, White Fragility and So You Want to Talk About Race. And I now have a permanent display outside my office, and we're buying more. The next one we're reading is How to Be an Anti-Racist by Ibram X. Kendi. And these are wonderful books, but it's gotten, now it's kind of like when you say this, the train going, and we're on the train, and I am an American, and I'm often embarrassed by how much the Americans are driving the train. And most of the books and most of the opportunities of books we have to buy can be overwhelmingly from the US, or certainly from English-speaking countries too. But this How to Be an Anti-Racist, he makes the point, and it's a good one, that racial inequity is a problem of bad policy, not bad people. So this isn't addressing prejudice. It's addressing structural racism. So he's very famous for his book, Stamped from the Beginning, which looks at how racism was structurally inherent in the establishment of the United States. And so he's really talking about getting people to recognize that when people aren't given loans and don't get opportunities. It's not just prejudice. And by the way, on the right, you'll see that he's teaming up with Jason Reynolds, and they are writing a Young Readers Edition will be published next year, which is going to be a combination of this book, How to Be an Anti-Racist, and his historical book, Stamped from the